How many of you want to learn the skills of how to create structure and truly create time and financial freedom in your life and in your business? I do. And how many of you want to learn really the number one essence of having success in this business, which is being around long enough to reap the rewards of your efforts? Okay, we're going to share with you some points around that as well. And how many of you, just imagine that you were learning the timeless secrets of of true success in this business that we call network marketing and in this company that we call Isagenix. So my name is Robert Arthur, along with Miss Bethany Kraus, and you have joined us on the Foundation Training 101. This is module number 6. If this is your first module you're joining us in, welcome. This may be your 6th visit that you're plugging into. We want to commend you and congratulate you on stepping up and, stepping into being the leader that other leaders are looking for. So Bethany, where are you hailing from today?
I am in the beautiful Princeville, Hawaii, Robert. Just loving life here, living the dream.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, guys. And thank you, Bethany. Again, this is about discovering the skills and mindset necessary to ignite your business. So we're gonna go into depth on these 3 different pieces today. One is we're gonna share with you some of the reasoning and why we say that structure truly creates freedom. And then we're also going to share with you, really, as Jimmy Smith, our number one income earner, always says, duplicate or die. We're going to hopefully share with you some insight and a definite kind of reason why, unless you're duplicating yourself and have other leaders able to plug into the way you're building, enrolling, and training, your business will not grow. So duplication is key. We're going to show you some keys around that. And then finally, we're going to round it up with the law of the harvest, as I mentioned earlier, how this truly is a journey. And my goodness, we surely hope that you are around for the harvest. So Bethany, are you excited about that?
I'm really excited, Robert. Yes, I am.
Here we go. So mindset. So Beth and I, first of all, we always start each module with the mindset, how you perceive and look at things. Look at the subtitle here. This business, it's truly about nurturing, developing, and empowering other leaders. This is a training and mentoring business. Okay. And Beth and I would love to just pause a minute here and share with you a couple personal insights and some really often some challenging lessons that we've had to learn the hard way and easy way. So Bethany, you want to start by sharing how this impacts you and as far as some nuggets around your journey into being a more effective leader, mentor?
Absolutely, Robert. I believe that I became the sponsor monster. I could bring people in for the products and I never really was nurturing them to become leaders or, embracing them in the leaders that they already were. And so I was basically, building my business on my own. And that's not the way it's designed to be. It's designed to, build as a team. And once I, kind of figured that out and put it into place and, started nurturing and empowering my leaders to help them build their businesses, that's really when my business took off. And I saw a big difference in everything.
And for the person listening, how can they duplicate that? So what couple actions did you do? Number 1, to become aware of that. And number 2, to be a more effective mentor and coach. Did you actually find a mentor yourself and make some shifts?
I did, yes. Yep, absolutely. I did. And thanks to you, Robert.
Well, you're welcome. And for those listening, that it truly is the key, that one of the keys to being an effective trainer and mentor of others is to reach out, invest your time, invest your money, and find those coaches and mentors. And one of the things, guys, look around you, look at all these highly successful, the people that are contributing the most in life and living their dream life. I would say you'd be hard pressed to find any of them who did not have a number of mentors, coaches, an environment that supports their growth and their success. And my little story is it's been now 20 years in the industry on and off, Isagenix for almost 9 years. And I was sharing earlier with Bethany on the pre-brief and some leaders that, I've always known that if somebody's stepping up and acting and working, I'm gonna work with them, whether you're personally enrolled or they're personally enrolled. Doesn't matter where they are in your organization. When you see people working, reaching out, then you partner up with them. One of the things to bear in mind, though, one of the areas that I'm really working on becoming more effective at is I would work with anybody anywhere in, whether they were 400 levels down or my front line, and working with my mentor as well. One of them is PK Smith, David Wood, etc. These mentors have taught me and told me that, Robert, are you training up leaders? It's one thing to be able to work with anybody on your team and train them in your system and how the success secrets and tips of our business. It's quite another. It's equally important to find the leaders between you and them and to see who is willing to step into that place. And so really, I'm really focusing on doing more mentoring. So the difference, the training, let's say I enrolled you, Bethany. So let's say I enrolled Laurie, and let me unmute Laurie's line for a moment here. Hey, Miss Laurie, you there? Maybe muted out here. So let's say that I enrolled Laurie, for example, and I could easily train Laurie up through the system and the do's and don'ts of our business. If I want true time leverage, I'm also gonna make darn sure, because Bethany's working hard too. I'm gonna say, Bethany, are you open if we do some mentoring and training together? I really want to build you up, and I'm gonna learn from you. You learn from me, so you can do what I'm doing. Are you open to that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna train. I'll be training Laurie and training Bethany, but Bethany very quickly will evolve into more of a mentoring process. So then I'm mentoring Bethany how to train Laurie. And then Bethany and I both are mentoring Laurie now how to train her people, Darcy, Yolanda, Annette, etc., as opposed to just training, which is just one person to one person. It's all about mentoring and empowering all these leaders to be more effective trainers and mentors. Does that make sense, Bethany?
Absolutely. Yep, it does.
And it's really huge. It will exponentially turn your business, really shove it into high gear, guys. So one of the things that every successful leader does as well, at some point or the other, some are kind of here and there and everywhere until they really realize they have to treat it like a business. So when we say creating your space, why do we say it's important, and why is it really crucial for you to really, be professional and be productive, Bethany?
Well, I think it's obvious reasons is, if you treat this like a hobby, you're going to get paid as a hobby. If you treat it as a business, you're going to get paid as a business. And so, we all have to create our space, create our, business hours and all of that stuff, just, to be professional, to keep this professional as our business.
I agree totally. Otherwise, and part of it's the shifting into a mindset where you're surrounded by your goals, your aspirations, your vision, and once you're in that space, you feel like you're supported. You know exactly why you're sitting there, and you're in that zone, you're in that space. And most of you, I'm sure, listening to this line, either have a spouse or kids or family. I know with me, my office, it isn't probably the most common place, but in our house right now in Texas, the living room is the most sunny and productive. The quote office in this house is way back in the back, and during the winter it's kind of a little chillier. So my office tends to be right here. You see the picture there it's the left side of the fireplace. I have my vision board there. Behind me, which you can't see, is my 7 affirmations from one of my key mentors, Andy Andrews, etc. Then there's my honeybee directly across from me, and her desk where she has her stuff, her files, her resources, her calendar, etc., is my honey. See, one of the common themes, I have a headset on. You can barely see the wire. So does Joy. I'm sure Bethany does as well. That's a simple little reminder. You really want to free your hands up. Uh, Bethany, I also see some of your affirmations. I see some of your goals that surround your workspace.
Absolutely. I've got you can't see all of it, but I have my vision board on the left-hand side. And on the right side of my desk, I have my leaders, names drawn real pretty and bubble letters. Lila helped me do that. And on my left-hand side of my desk, I've got my leaders on my left leg that I'm working with, same thing. And yeah, it's all right there in the forefront of my mind. And directly behind my computer, you can't see too well, there's a piece of paper, and it says consultants, managers, directors, executives, and I've got people's names there. And as they hit the rank, I highlight them.
I love it. So first and foremost, you see your leaders who are stepping up, and so you're looking, and you can. I love how PK says you're actually taking that. I can see you, doing A, B, and C. You're taking that to a new level. You're actually putting them forefront in your mind and your heart right there every day. I love it. Awesome, guys. So I hope you're getting some fun ideas. And there's so many different ways to create your workspace. I know one of our top millionaires, we're going to have her on the leadership call here in about 3 weeks. Her name is Suzanne Hart. She's very, very masterful at teaching structure and freedom. It's not one of my strengths. It's an area that I'm always working on. And again, you tend to, in this business, you learn to magnify your strengths and work on those strengths. And at the same time, delegate or leverage the strengths of other people if you do have areas that you're not as strong in. So again, one of the big keys is to keep, first things first. So I hope you enjoyed the workspace pictures there. Let me see if Lori is back here, see if she has some questions or comments around the workspace. Lori, are you able to unmute now with us? Okay.
I am, Robert. Can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah, we can hear you fine
now. I had my phone muted too. Sorry.
No problem. Any comments around what you've discovered around really the value of a workspace and the vision board, etc.?
Well, let me just tell you that when I have a workspace, it works really well. And when I try to take over my kitchen table, it does not work well for my family. So thank you so much for leading by example to you, Joy, and Bethany. I totally get it that I need to move from the kitchen table back to my desk in my office to my workspace and have that clearly identified so that I can be more respectful of my family and just be more organized. So thank you. This is total confirmation for me.
Well, thanks for being transparent. And as I mentioned before, we have a quote, supposedly office in the kind of back room in the house, but where do we gravitate to? Where it's sunny and the energy is there. So, if we had kids, it'd be a different story here all the time. So just find the space that you can create that environment where you can focus as well. And that being said, I know Lori, Bethany is the same way. Sometimes I picked up the laptop and I get my headset and my iPad, my phone, and I go to a coffee shop, or I may go to even on the back porch. Sometimes you want to definitely change up the environment to be more creative and have some fresh ideas. So,
you know where my favorite one is.
Yeah, we do know where your favorite workspace is, on the beach. So,
yep.
And again, guys, that's creating the space and having fun, and also portraying the lifestyle as well. So, fun. When we say structure creates freedom, and I'll be the first to admit, again, this is not one of my strengths. Am I always working on making that stronger and being more effective with my time management? Heavens, yes. I'm a leader, and I have goals and aspirations, and I'm leading by example. Yeah. Can I readily admit that I'm kind of working on that part of my business? Yeah, you bet. I can be transparent about it. Do I commit? Am I aware enough of my income producing activities to keep those happening every day? Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the success that I do. Bethany, I would suggest, knowing what I know, how you work in your business, this is one of your strengths. So I would love for you to make a couple comments on some of the nuggets we have on our screen here so we could learn from your strength as well, Bethany.
Well, thank you, Robert. That means a lot. I was thinking, yeah, I need to work on this as well. So it means a lot coming from you, definitely. You know, I like the desk calendar idea, guys. You know, a lot of people use their phone for appointments, and I did do that. And I think it was Susan Sly and Lisa DeMeo were on a panel a couple of years ago at Celebration, and they shared with me that they had a desk calendar, and it worked really well because everything is right there and they can see it. And that's what I use, and I like to be able to look at my entire day, see, you know, what spots I have open. You know, the only struggle that I have with that, and I was talking with Greg about this the other day, Robert, is, you know, if I am out and about and somebody sends me a text and says, hey, can you do a three-way for me at this time?
Yeah.
I'll say, I'm pretty sure I'm open, but just send me an email. And then when I get home, I get the email, I look at my desk, and then I respond, yes, I can do that, you know. You're locked in. And, you know, definitely planning the night and the week before. I mean, I know what my month looks like. You know, I know if there's certain days I'm going to take off, you know, if I've got friends coming on the island to visit, or, you know, if I've got something to do with my family. And I let my team know that, you know, by the way, I'm not going to be available Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, you know, so let's get all the calls in that I can help you with Monday and Tuesday. So yeah, just really planning everything out. And when I go to bed at night, I know exactly what I'm waking up to the next morning. Mm-hmm. I know what's forefront, what's first on my list is my IPAs. I got to get all those done. And then I work out. And then that's when I do, you know, the enrolling and the follow-up conversations, the training and mentoring and everything else.
Yeah, great nuggets there. You know, for me, I do work off an electronic calendar. I work off my iPhone calendar. Joy, like you, Bethany, she does a paper calendar. We'll ask Lori in a minute what she works out of too. I find that the electronic calendar works for me, especially when I'm out and about. And again, what I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at maybe here shortly is to put a little paper calendar as kind of put my big rocks. And when I say my rocks, picture a glass pickle jar, you know, like a 2-gallon jar, pretty good size, or 1.5 gallons, and picture like 5 big rocks that you put in there first, and one rock is labeled, you know, enrolling, connecting conversations, new conversations. The next rock is labeled your follow-up. The next rock is your celebration calls. The next rock is your family time. The next rock is your workout time. So what I'm saying is that you want to put those in the jar first, and then your little pebbles could be washing dishes, cleaning the house. Maybe your pebbles are creating the next little document you have in mind for your team. Those are all non-income producing activities that can take away from your 80% conversations. And then
I love that analogy, Robert.
And well, thanks. One of my mentors, he actually brought a glass jar, and he put all these pebbles in first, and then he tried to cram in these 5 core actions, and they wouldn't fit. And then he dumped the whole jar out, guys, and he put the 5 core rocks, the core activities first. Then all the pebbles fit fine all around the rocks. Okay, it's a fun little metaphor, but it really kind of simply brings home the ideal about putting first things first. If I were to summarize what I do with my calendar as well, just like Bethany, I schedule in, you know, my time when it comes to my new conversations, either on the phone or Facebook. I schedule in my follow-up time. I know Mondays are kind of a big day when Joy and I call our celebration calls. We call our new consultants, our individuals that have recruited more than 2 people, and then we have our calls that night. So it's kind of more of a celebration coaching support day, where Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday has a lot bigger slots in our calendar for those enrolling conversations, follow-up conversations, and then again Friday tends to be more follow-up coaching, structure, planning. So again, you're going to have your ways of doing that. And you definitely, one of those rocks needs to be obviously your workout time. Remember, we have to live by example. If we're teaching health and wellness, my goodness, and we aren't even taking the time to exercise and take care of ourselves, something is not quite equating there.
One more thing about this slide, Robert, before we move on, the on and off times. I know a lot of people like to say that on their voicemail. I'm in my office from these hours, for these hours each day, Monday through Friday. I personally, I don't do that. That might be something that might work out for you or for somebody listening to this call. I don't do that because, day to day here is completely different living on Kauai, so I never know where I'm going to be what day. And so I, if I was in more of an environment where I was just really in an office, then that would be different. So just something that you might want to be thinking about.
No, that's a great point. And yeah, one more point too. Thanks for reminding us of that one. The on and off is key. When you are in your calendar, you have your date night, maybe with your honey or your kids, turn the dang phone off. Joy and I had to really just stop and do that because a text would pop up and it could be your next superstar ready to sign up. But the reality is that I personally like putting some messages on there because if that one of my business partners or even a prospect or even a customer calls and they hear, by the way, I'm having a date night with my honey, what am I portraying? That I work to live a more balanced life. Even on Facebook, I think it's great to post if you're having a day off. I got several comments. I almost felt guilty because Black Wednesday, I posted that Joy and I are off today, and I did some fun comments around that. And I got a number of personal texts or even face-to-face comments that people really respected that. So again, if people look at us, they're also looking at our lifestyle. And if we're giving off this energy that we work 24/7, we might want to look at the kind of energy and the lifestyle that we're saying, do you want this lifestyle? So you might want to visit that. So again, part of the answer is being present, being present, being on when you're on, and then off when you're off. Here are some common little pitfalls, and I'll kind of speed through these, and then maybe we'll open the line up again to Lori and see if anybody has some additional comments. Bethany asked me even on the pre-brief today, Robert, what do you mean by crisis management? And my answer to her is that living from emergency to emergency, meaning when you work your plan and plan your work and you have more structure, you have a lot less crises and emergencies happening. Meaning also when you're delegating and you have other partners that you're training and mentoring and work in the same system you do, I find that the drama tends to go down and the emergency situations aren't really they aren't really an emergency. They just can get done with people. Okay.
And see, anybody that knows me knows that, I don't live that way. So when you explained it to me, I'm like, oh, that completely makes sense. It's just not something that's even on my radar because that's just not the way that I work.
It's not how you live. Yeah, you just take a deep breath. Right. Okay, what are some answers? And doing it alone, what's your comment around that one? That's pretty kind of self-evident, but any comments or first-hand knowledge?
Well, I like PK's thing, if you're doing it alone, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm. And for those listening, what we mean by this is that if you're enrolling, training your people, doing maybe not so much mentoring, you're not on the Monday night calls because you're signing somebody else up. That's great, but is it duplicatable? Okay. You're not recognizing your people on the Facebook pages. You're not celebrating. You're not saying, hey, Bethany, would you help me welcome this person, or you call your sponsor? So you're not leveraging your community, which leads to the next bullet point. You're not using a system, and you're maybe being a recruiting monster, or maybe you're recruiting kind of pretty much steadily, but you're just not delegating. So I would suggest to you that you're really missing out, and that you may grow your business to a point, but it's going to only grow to a certain very short ceiling. It's like walking around in a house or entering a house and you have to crawl and the ceiling is imagine a house where the ceiling is 4 foot tall. It comes up to your chest. You'd be stooped the whole time. So you can never stand up and you'll never have any clear space to look in this house because that's as high as your business can grow. Having no clear workspace, I think we covered that one hopefully in the previous slide, where you can either treat it like a hobby, hobbies cost money, or you can set yourself up with your international headquarters, and then your mind reflects your environment as well. Bethany, any other comments around these pitfalls?
No, Robert, I think that you explained them all very well.
Super duper. So duplicate or die, kind of a harsh statement there, but it's, and look at the tagline, though, the subtitle. It's not simply what works, it's what duplicates. And sometimes it takes.
I can talk about this, Robert.
Well, we'll jump right in here, then I'll follow behind you, Bethany. Go ahead.
For years, Robert and Joy would tell me, "But Bethany, you're so great at this and you're so great at that, but it's not duplicatable. It's not duplicatable. Do you see what we mean? Do you see what we mean?" I never saw what they meant until I finally saw, wow, I can't do all this on my own. I need to be duplicatable. So I just, can attest to that. It's definitely about, everything you do needs to be duplicatable. I've got some great leaders that say, oh, well, I created this document and I use it this way and I do that. But now their people think, well, I need to create a document to look like her document. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're being creative.
Yeah, and this is a pot calling the kettle black, because this is a journey for all of us, guys, because leaders do what leaders do, and leaders have a voice. So here's the conundrum, isn't it, Bethany and Laurie and Vicki, anybody else on this line, Tammy? Leaders do what leaders do, so leaders want a voice. So it's a very common, if you will, kind of little pitfall or a trap that we can step into. I know in a previous venture, a company I was involved with, about 12 years ago, for about 5 years, one of my upline partners, his background was car sales. So and for many, many years, all about the sale. And bless his heart, his name was Lyle. Lyle was a good guy, just heart-centered leader. But bless his heart, he was always creating. He would spend so much of his time creating the next tool, the next tool, the next tool, and he never would embrace any of the company's systems. And I know, in case you're wondering, well, Robert and Bethany, yes, we have a team website. Part of our goal with that little team website, and now a lot of us are using also Team Easy with Zach and Eden. Part of the role those little team resources play, we're not reinventing what the company is doing. We kind of take what the company systems are, and we just kind of simplify and dummify our kind of, simplified down. Okay, here's how you do leverage the company tools. And then this kind of training we're doing right now is just fundamental, basic training that we know will save you time if we can share our mistakes and our experience. So that's what I'm getting at. Bethany, comments around that?
No, Robert, I was thinking of something, and I can't think of what it is right now. I was just really listening to what you were saying. Yeah, I think it's just, you explained it well.
Well, thanks. And again, guys, all we're saying is that here's maybe the simplest way to phrase this, is this: why not plug into a proven system until you're making six figures? That may be the simplest way to say it, because once you're hitting six figures, yes, go ahead, create some tools. But until then, why not just plug in? And I mean, seriously, once you're at a certain income, yeah, all of us, again, leaders want to create some of their own stuff. That's cool. All I'm saying is that why not get a level of success under your belt before you even look at that? That's all I'm saying. So
I thought of it, Robert. There's a lot of people that are always getting ready to get ready.
Yeah.
And, that's the people that are making the, spreadsheets or documents, or, they're getting ready to get ready. Just do the fundamentals, do the basics.
Do the basics. Don't take away from the IPAs, the income producing activities. Remember all those, the analogy of the big rocks? Remember you have 5 big rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Don't put so many pebbles in the mix that the rocks won't fit. Your business will not grow. Let me see if Laurie has a couple comments or questions before we go to the last section here. So, Miss Lori, does this make sense? Duplicate or die? Not
Oh,
reinventing the
does
wheel.
it? Oh, does it? I totally relate to everything today's webinar has mentioned thus far, all the way from the rocks, pebbles, sand, and water, keeping your priorities in order first, keeping first things first, the calendars, the workspace, and then this latest topic of using the systems that are already in place. We don't need to recreate the wheel. Let's use what is already working.
Yeah, and
So
I love it, Lori. And for those listening, Lori's working, meaning her team is rank advancing. Laura, you're just a hair's breadth away from executive. You are creating energy, momentum through your team. So you're a wonderful example of that.
well, thank you. We're just going to keep doing what y'all tell us to do because obviously it's working, and so we don't need to recreate anything, just this whole power of duplication. And that's just a powerful thing. So thank you so much for bringing this up, and it's a great topic. Great webinar so far, always.
Good stuff. Awesome. Leaders do what leaders do. This is, I think, one of Bethany and I's favorite slides. When we did our pre-brief, we said, wow, Bethany made a comment. Yeah, I get that. So what initially hit home to you in your heart when you saw this little graphic here, Bethany?
Skyrise, building tall, building a legacy, is what this makes me think of. It's a beautiful building, strong and tall, and it just looks to me very powerful compared to the big hole next to it.
Yeah, wonderful. And what I see, guys, when I see these two images, is I know, imagine going to a construction like on the left, and in the future it's going to look like on the right. But where do the builders and even the architects and where is the energy and the time and more money and more energy and more time spent before they ever go up? They have to go down, down, and down and build, find the bedrock, find the foundation, build the strength where this building will not collapse. Okay, so you go down to build depth. You have to go down and find bedrock. And in our business, bedrock is leaders. So here's a clue. You will know when you have a sustainable Isagenix business when you have 3 executives deep. And you will know when you're beginning to get close to bedrock when you have 3 ranks above consultants deep. What I mean by that is this. Let's say that I recruit Bethany. Bethany goes executive in, say, 6 weeks. Okay, I'm beginning to get a little energy. I don't have any I'm not close to bedrock yet, but Bethany turns around and says she enrolls Lori. Lori gets to director. Okay, I'm getting closer to bedrock. And then Lori turns around and enrolls, say, Darcy. And now Miss Amazing Darcy gets to manager. So I'm just like a couple shovelfuls away from bedrock. Once Lori hits executive, which she will like in a few days, it's amazing. And then once Lori, say Darcy, hits executive, that's the analogy I'm making. Then I have a sustainable team in that position. Do I already have 3 executives deep? Yes, quite a long time ago. With Mary, Jeannie, Grace, or like Mary, Grace, and then Bethany, Dr. Bruce. At one of my legs, I have like 6 or 7 executives deep, generations deep. That's when you have a sustainable business built on bedrock, and that's what then you can go up like this skyscraper on the right and have solid long-term legacy growth. So Bethany, did that make sense?
Absolutely, Robert.
Okay. That's on the left is building leaders and building sustainable leaders who are training and mentoring alongside you. Then your business can grow up and create that true time freedom. So just want to drive that point home. So this slides, we've already covered this many times. You've heard this all through this webinar series. It's about being duplicatable. You got to find your system. As Lori said earlier, plug into the system that's already working and get into action. Okay, so we just have a couple slides left here, but we want to drive this home here at the end of this little series. So here are 6 of your daily steps that you'll be doing on a daily basis to build your business. One is you're always connecting with quality people. You're inviting them to look. Bethany and I, both you and I, love the little phrase, separate the invitation from the presentation. Most people want to do what, Bethany? Connect, invite, present, everything all in one sitting.
You know, until I really got that, Robert, oh my goodness, that's such a powerful statement. It really is. You know, Kelly Kidd was telling me how she's getting ready to go to a meetup, you know, with 50 people, and she's looking forward to meeting some people. And I said to her, if there's one thing you can remember, separate the invitation from the presentation. Your job is to book as many looks as you can. Get them excited that you've lost weight. When they ask you how you've done it, say, I would love to share it with you. When's a good time where you can be in front of your computer and I can show it to you? Rather than just sitting there and telling each and every one. You know, if she did that, she would probably only walk away with 2 people.
And it could be 2 people that were like just giving her the time of day just till she leaves and run, you know. So as opposed to 10 people that were leaning forward and they were all ears and all curious, you know, there's a big difference. Remember the dog and the cat, you know. Okay, connect and invite on a daily basis, setting the appointments or booking the looks, as Bethany just said. Presenting using the tool. Don't be a fool. Use the tool. And then we're enrolling. And remember, guys, most people, even especially your quality professional people, it will take anywhere from 5 to 10, average 7 to 8 follow-up conversations. Remember that. And then what do? Do we enroll them and say, have fun? Well, we train them, and we don't stop there. Remember my big learning curve here for me? Remember, really emphasize the mentoring. And mentoring is training other leaders how to train. That's the mentoring. And then number 6, repeat.
Repeat.
How about in the middle of the circle? Isn't that true, Bethany? Grow. You know.
Although it should say revenue.
Oh, that's a good correction. Grow into your revenue. For those listening, one of our dear mentors, PK, the difference in his mind is income is kind of linear, meaning time versus money, where revenue is that long-term one we love that we cycle while we sleep. You know, it's amazing. So, okay, you'll hear this any training you go to in Isagenix, any conference call you're on, etc. Probably at some point in that training you're going to hear this, but we'll say it again, and we're showing it to you visually. Look at the big one in the yellow part. I was on a mentoring call with one of Bethany's amazing leaders. Her name's Dana, just like an hour ago. And my last question on our little mentoring session with her, I said, okay, last question. Are you registered for Celebration? And she gave me a great answer. Yeah. So Celebration, non-negotiable. New Year kickoff. Those are the 2 big ones. Remember, the big structure is every quarter. So the first and third quarters are covered, aren't they? New Year kickoff, celebration. Okay. How about the second and fourth quarter? Well, it could be an ICU, could be a university in action, etc. So you do want to have a major event you're pushing for every quarter of the year. Bethany, comments around the little pink and the blue circle as well?
Yeah, I mean, just constantly plugging into events, Robert, whatever it is, whatever you can get to, it just helps really build that belief. And every event I go to, I learn so much. I take away so many nuggets. I mean, these are, people that are training at these events are people that have done it. So, you're constantly learning.
Amen, Brother Ben. So every event, guys, leaders are readers. Leaders are lifelong students. Show me a leader who's charismatic and truly changing lives, and people highly respect them. And I'll show you a leader who's a student first and foremost. Okay. The best teachers are the best students. All right. And here's Bethany's favorite slide. So what are we looking at here, Bethany?
I love this slide because it shows you in 5 years, it might take you a little bit of time to build your revenue. But by the end of your 5 years, your time that you're working is going to be less and less. and your revenue is going to be greater and greater.
I love it. So you're saying we're more time heavy. We spend more time for less money as we're building.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we build this thing and duplicate leaders and mentor leaders and people stepping up who are changing your life and blessing your life and changing babies and grandpas and grandmas, and then all of a sudden you got a new leader in Canada and Singapore, etc. Then eventually what happens? You see, so you're making a lot more money and spending a lot less time, which is, to be transparent,
And
Go ahead.
One thing is, where Jimmy Smith always says, never quit. I mean, people might think, well, I'm just not making the money. I've been doing this for a year. You've got to just keep on working it. And I mean, if somebody told you can make $1 million in 5 years, would you do it? Would you stick to the 5 years and never give up?
Amen. That's happening. It's happening for you as we speak. So, and again, our most intensive work phase that I'm very transparent about it, for a year and a half, my Indian name, I probably shouldn't tell it online, but it's no ass at all. So, so the first year we worked very, very hard, and we've reaped the rewards of that initial major push for now several years afterward. Do we have an ebb and flow? Do we push really hard sometimes and then play more and then work and ebb and flow? Now, you bet we do. So again, is it worth it? That's the huge beauty. One of the essential core foundation beautiful principles of this whole concept is you build time and financial freedom. I love it. So this is our last teaching slide, and then we're going to end with our poem. This is timeless. It's taught in the good book, The Parable of the Sower, and it's timeless in our industry because, Bethany, do we have the best seed on the planet and our products and wealth creation vehicle?
Absolutely, Robert. No doubt about it.
So if we're going to sow seed, why would you sow bad seed? I mean, it'd be a wasted effort, wouldn't it, guys? So find the best seed that's fresh, that can still sprout. And my goodness, we have the freshest and most powerful seed anywhere with our incredible, weight loss, energy performance, healthy aging, wealth creation vehicles. And now look at the middle slide. I love that little picture because there's your little seedling. Maybe it's your brand new cleanser. Maybe she's having a rough day and you plug her in and you support her. You send her a text that, Bethany, you can do it. I know you can. Maybe Lori calls you or both of us. We may get a text, both of us, and Joy too. Lori said, oh my goodness, I got my first, and this is going to happen. Lori, so brace yourself. Lori, we're going to get a text in the future which says, oh man, a frowny face, Bethany and Robert, my new manager quit. She's on the witness protection plan. She's not returning my phone calls. As Jim Rohn said, the birds are going to get some, guys. And the good book says it too. The sun will wither some. Some will have, their belief will be as thin as paper. They just aren't ready to change, to make a change for their health or their income. But Bethany, what do leaders do?
What was the question, Robert?
I was just using that analogy. Lori is a leader, so Lori is going to pick right up and plug into us, plug into the calls, say a couple of prayers, read the good book, and away she goes. And so we have to nurture our little seedlings, don't we? Because they're our future superstars.
Absolutely.
I mean, guys, if you'd have signed Joy and I up, you'd have thought we were two duds. I mean, we probably signed up 4 people in 4 months. Okay, so when I share, we went from 0 to 6 figures in 10 months. I begin my quote business story from the day that I decided to commit. I came back from celebration. I said, Joy, this is real. It's built on core values, God-centered values. This is real. Let's plug in. And that's where I start my business story. But for 4 months prior to that, I was dealing with a anti-network marketing honey and all kinds of things. So Bethany, if you just sign Bethany up, Bethany cranked it out. And then life, business, more business, all kinds of stuff got in her way. But we kept believing in her. We kept nurturing and shining the sunlight, keeping the weeds out. And what happened eventually?
Absolutely. Eventually, I was able to sell my businesses. Yeah, but Robert, I always talk about my business journey. I've got two sections that I talk about. The first one is, when I decided to plug in and go executive, it took me 6 weeks.
Wow.
That's when I decided I was going to do the business, and it was when I came home from my first event.
Yeah.
And yes, then a lot of other stuff got in the way. I was running my businesses. Life was crazy. It was tough. So then the second part of my business journey is really, when did I really start to do the business, even though I went executive 3 years earlier? It was 3 years later when I sold my businesses and I said, I'm going to do this full time.
You're that guy's 3 years later. So again, leaders take time to nurture and develop, and everybody has an ebb and flow. Hopefully you're getting that lesson there. So be around for the harvest, for goodness sake. Many people, one of Jimmy Smith's sponsors, this guy came in, sponsored somebody who sponsored Jimmy Smith. The guy quit. Look at what he missed out. Ellen Bradley had a guy who sponsored her sponsor who quit, and about, I think, 9 years later came crawling back, and now he's in her downline. So again, guys, please don't be one of those individuals who gives up on themselves, because we're not giving up on you. We believe in each and every one of you, and sometimes you have to believe so much more in people than they believe in themselves, but keep believing in them. And the balance is that working with those that work and believing in those who have potential. So but you do have to invest your energy and your time with action versus pardon the analogy, but kind of versus hot air. Okay, so I do want to paint both sides of that coin. Any comments around that, Bethany, before we close it out today?
Nope, Robert. Just follow your dreams, follow your heart, and meet new people and continue planting those seeds.
Yeah, and the harvest will come, guys. Stay the course. The good people are praying right now for an answer for their health and their wealth. We just have to find them. So again, structure does create freedom. I know we're all entrepreneurs, leaders, and we tend to run from structure sometimes, but just embrace it, because structure can free you up, because it helps you be on and present, and then you can also be on with your family and the other part of your life. Okay, so structure does free you up. Duplicate or die. I mean, it's all about plugging into a system and bringing up leaders. Law of the harvest. I think we made that point loud and clear. Be around for the harvest. Please don't plant a bunch of seeds and then run away from it. And some of those seeds are going to sprout, and other people can reap the rewards. If you do step off the path, please stay on the path. So call to action. Learn and work a system. Be duplicatable. Embrace the law of the harvest. Focus on the journey. And this is my numero uno favorite poem by Marianne Williamson, also shared publicly by Nelson Mandela Madiba. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We asked ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve this world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within each of us. It is not just in some of us, it's in every one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. How powerful is that? Guys, we have a gift. I feel like we have a God-given expectation we're made in His image. So why not honor that image by stepping into our talent, stepping into our power, and we have been given a priceless gift, the ability to impact lives around us with this beautiful, product line and this wealth creation vehicle. So thanks for joining us. Bethany, a closing thought to wind up this little webinar series?
Well, to wrap up our 6th session, I hope you guys found all of these useful, helpful. Share them with your team, and let's go out there and change some lives.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
You, Robert.
Thank you, Miss Bethany. Thank you, Lori. Guys, we believe in each and every one of you. Thank you.